Hello, hello. This is a message from me to you from the Fool card. So, as you know, the Fool card talks about, or you might not know, but the Fool card talks about new beginnings, but it also talks about that naivety, and not making choices from the best standpoint, not really being aware and having good discernment. So this is a pick a card. I'm going to figure out what message the Fool card would like to bring to you. All right, so let's begin. We're going to pick pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3. You can always pause for the cause, take a deep breath, and figure out which one just jumps out to you first. And as always, you can listen to all of it. All right, we're going to start with pile 1, y'all. Okay, pile 1. Let's start. Okay, so right here it says expect nothing and appreciate everything. So you may be on a new beginning, a new journey, and you're really not quite sure what or where to start or how to start with something, right? And if you're anything like me or just human, right? We can put all these expectations, right, in our mind, especially when starting something new. Because it's kind of like our brain's like, well, it's going to happen the same way, In all actuality, it's something new. So it's not going to happen the same way. And many times with our creativity, dealing with manifestation and energy, you want something new, right? And there's a difference between the wants and the needs. When you can really tap into your higher self knows that there's no need to expect something to set yourself up for disappointment. There's a need for you to appreciate everything along the journey so you can walk within gratitude, so you can walk in that higher part, that higher essence, that higher element, and enjoy the journey. Because if we're so worried about expectations and like, oh, this has to be a certain way, we really miss the beauty along the journey. So let's see what else this message would like to tell us, okay? Just right here. Yeah, something new is happening for you, pile 1. Let's do this, all right? So we have the Temperance card, we have the Queen of Swords, and we have the Death card. We have the 10 of Coins, we have the Ace of Wands, and we have the 9 of Wands. For some, you may be starting something. I really do feel that you've been creating something, right? But you're not really seeing the bigger picture within your creative energy because you're expecting it to, like, your results to be the same way that it always has been. Now, for some people, that if it's always been like no one shows up to the party type of energy, deep down inside you kind of feel like that's going to happen, even though you're trying your hardest to live in your truth and to really come from a place of creating from the heart and being authentic with your craft, right? But a lot of times it just seems like, you're not recognizing the journey. Like, look at this right here. When I see the Temperance card, for one, it's about alchemizing, transmuting something from one type of element into another. And with that comes balance and patience. It's almost like I'm getting like this idea of a scientist, right? And a scientist has to be patient and open to new discoveries because the scientist is actually really trying to create something new, right? But, all right, let's think about it here. If anybody knows the story, I don't know the full story, but we all know, well, maybe we don't, but let's talk about Frankenstein, right? If the scientist really thought that he could put all these pieces together and create somebody or something, right, out of nothing and make this person come alive, right? I'm sure he had some type of expectations, but at the same time, there was this part of his creativity of the unknown. Now, if he didn't leave any room for that unknown part, there was just so many types of expectations. And it's like, this has to be right. This has to be this, and that. But if you can leave room for new things, the unknown to come in, right? Then you can appreciate it better. You can actually understand the wealth that comes with, the tangible thing, the tangible element that you're creating and allowing the unseen, the energy, the unknown parts of it to come to life, and know that this isn't really just you creating this. Yes, your human form, your human body is creating these things, right? But where are you getting the ideas? I am such a person that supports and loves to talk about how creativity does not just come from you. You are the vessel for it, but the unseens, whether it's the angels, whether it's your ancestors, whether it's any other type of energy you can think of, and any other type of name that you can call God. It's source energy, universal energy that's coming through you, and you're that open channel. And if you focus on your needs and your wants, right, you're making expectations. But if you can really allow some type of room, or be a clear channel, right? But many of us may not know how to do that, right? So we have to leave some type of room for the appreciation, for the love, for the needs of trusting the universe that will allow everything to fall into place the way that it needs to. 10 of Coins talks about 10, right, is completion. And if you can see the completion or allow the universe to do what it does to complete that, then you can have that appreciation of your work. You can have that appreciation of, and that love and joy and bliss of being satisfied. Because a lot of us artists, us scientists, us creators, we know we can get caught up in our gift, right? And forget that, first of all, it's a God-given gift, right? And second of all, we need to the perfectionism, right? The perfectionism will have you caught up, all up in that expectations, and really miss the point, miss the truth, miss the truth of it all. The Queen of Swords knows she's an open channel. That's where the sword is. She allows that open channel to come through, and she doesn't care how it comes out, but she knows that she'll be able to. We have another angel in here. Pile one, we have a lot of you are being guided, right? But you're not really open to it. You're not really listening to it. You're listening to negative talk or old things that were said from people that had other, that was from the past, right? When we're talking about the Fool, we are talking about new energy. And the Fool can be a literal fool if he thinks that he's trying to do something new and it's going to come out the same way. What is that called, right? Insanity? When you continue doing the same thing but expecting something different, Now, there has been a lot of hardships, right? You may be creating the hardships, but I'm kind of feeling like hardships was more so from other people. Wow, for the first time, I just realized this. So I don't know if y'all can see this, but there's a house in the background, and it's almost like I saw this and I thought of rooster, and I'm looking at like there's legs, like the house grew legs. Ooh. And it's almost making me feel like, and here, home is not a place. Home is where your heart is. But there's fire. A lot of you did not feel safe within your own ideas too. You didn't feel safe because, like, look at her. She's holding on to this like little doll here, and it's reminding me too of inner child, um, and just like young childhood. Like some of you may have moved a lot. Some of you just had a lot of things in the home that just felt like unsafe, and this is where you kind of, the expectations that are like more deeper and subconscious, it's kind of making you feel like you're not worthy of these new things and these new opportunities that are coming. And it's kind of like, in a way, it's like as hard as you want to believe that you are good enough for the opportunity, you have these gifts and these talents, deep down inside you don't believe it, because of something that happened in your childhood. You know, a lot of it, the first 7 years, and probably as well, wherever you came from, and this energy within the womb, you know what I mean? Like, it affects you. And a lot of times that's like scientifically your brain is developing and trying to understand, like getting the motor skills, getting ideas, and just seeing this whole new world, right? And understanding how to be a part of it. And our caretakers are our guides to help us and support us with that. But many times these guides don't feel good, or we experience these things. And, we are embarking in a new age where more people are understanding and getting clarity and truth about these type of things. But, past happenings didn't. So, I wanted to make this quick, so I don't really want to like go into it, but I do want to say, for you, Power One, many of you are struggling with past, like she's looking back at the past, and wishing that, like, some of you may have just been poor, and wishing to have more money. This is really feeling like a lot of a root chakra and like solar plexus energy of being confident, right? But it's really hard to be confident if you don't feel safe. And it's really hard for you to create things and feel good about yourself, first and foremost, if you don't feel safe with that root chakra. So it's kind of like, for you, in order for you to step into this new energy of the Fool, there is a lot of deaths that need to happen from your mindset of the past, so you can actually really feel loved within the energy of the unknown, the energy of spirit, the energy of angels or God or the universe, okay? And really allow yourself, your hands, to be guided, from this. And it's almost like, if any of you have heard of automatic writing, automatic creating, right? It's almost like that. So, let's just give some advice for you, Pile One. Okay. What does higher self have to say about this? Okay, come on. All right. So for some of you, someone has been throwing shade, right? And you're kind of like worrying about that. Look at that. Look at that. We have the Oracle card too. And it says wait for important information. The red with the root chakra. Something that I've been learning too is the power of patience, right? And patience isn't about just waiting and sitting still. It's also about conjuring up that energy of aligning to what you're trying to be invited to, what you're trying to create, what you're trying to be seen or heard by. And it says, look, find the root cause and go deeper. There's something that I really feel for you, Piles. I'm sure this is a general reading, of course, but I'm pretty sure that this has to do with some type of childhood issues, whether it's baby, whether it's toddler, whether it's teenager, or honestly, it could be whether, your early 20s, who knows? But I know early 20s is not a child, but at the same time, it creeps up, and there's a reason where that number really steps into how you interact with other people, like the number 2 being relationships, no matter what type of relationships. That's like the, I don't know why I want to say pruning, but it's very like a new start of relationships, that carries from childhood. So, maybe you got bullied, maybe people are just hating because of the way that you shine, like this Fool card in here. But at the same time, you have to understand how you can be safe. Feel safe within your energy. Feel safe being alone. Feel safe with being loved, because you want something new. But at the same time, if you're repelling it from old experiences, you won't really get in line with what you're trying to meet, right? And this says, do something that brings you joy. I speak to a lot of people about their creativity and creatives, but you don't have to be a creative, you know what I mean? But that's one thing that creativity does help you with, is by stepping into that jovial, that play-like, childlike energy and really doing something that you love. Because I don't know what child doesn't like to create something, because it comes from, it's just territorial. There, I can go on and on about that. I'm not going to. I think that I'm going to leave it here. For anybody that is waiting for a certain type of message, whether they're doing a lot of work for root chakra issues, or they're just waiting for someone to have that intuitive nudge to do what is necessary for you to do along this journey. So I'm going to leave it there and go to pile 2s, okay? Much love for you, pile 1. If you're feeling the vibe, please subscribe and check out the links below for any messages or seeing what new happenings that I'm doing. All right? Until next time, I'm outie, y'all. Peace. Hello, pile 2s. Let's begin. What is your message starting with? Okay. So we got, make choices your future self will be proud of. What is this Fool card message trying to tell you? Make choices your future self will be proud of. Well, I'm going to assume that everybody that's watching this wants to understand what this Fool card energy is talking about. And yes, the Fool card does talk about new beginnings, right? But this is kind of giving me energy of feeling like the actual fool. And it's almost like I can't never do right. It's like you feel like you may continually keep making bad decisions, or you think that you may be making good decisions, but every time you make those decisions, something bad happens. But I'm here to say that we're going to see what these cards are talking about. But, like I was saying in the beginning too, the Fool card also is about having better discernment and not being naive to the situation. I do feel like naivety is pretty much like the opposite of discernment in a way. Everybody don't have discernment. Discernment is about making better choices from a place of connecting with your higher self, having like a higher perspective of I don't really want to use the word judgment, but like we all judge anyway. But it's not in a way to devalue somebody. It's a way to really be wiser, you know, from situations. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, this is about being wise for sure. All right, so I'm picking up something. I'm looking at this Four of Wands here, and I think that either a relationship or like a community did not really treat you well. It did not. It did not. Now, for some of you too, it's almost like, I don't know, it's like almost a couple of messages. Like party too hard and don't know when to stop. Um, it's also this like self-loathing energy again. Like, I never do right, you know what I mean? But I think that sometimes your intentions aren't clear. Your intentions aren't right, or you're not recognizing that your intentions were one thing and then you acted another way, and you're not taking responsibility for the, you know, the things that, how you acted, or your intentions on it. You know, like if you intend to have a good time but you act a wreck, right? Like, is that your version of having a good time? Or vice versa, if you tended to um, cause havoc, right? And then you're like, all right, I get to the party, and you just kind of like sit there on the wall and start looking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not mashing up. And this is also the thing about discernment, where you're finding that alignment when you're trusting your higher perspective to align with those intentions and be clear and truthful and honest and speak from a place of wisdom. Um, it's something about, it's almost like, I'm going to give an example. It's almost kind of like a narcissist wanting to help somebody. Now, I'm sure that many of you may not. So a narcissist is someone that's very selfish, very self-centered. I'm going to say, I'm not even going to use the word selfish. Very self-centered. It's like everything that they do always is thought of for themselves all the time. Like they're almost living in the world by themselves and not realizing that there's other people that you have to interact with, right? And it really starts from a place of survival, honestly. I think, you know, not a therapist. Some people may tell you it's just some way that they're wired. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's like every time you choose to do something, um, when you're interacting with other people, it's from a place of centered around you. So if you go into the store, you're making a decision to center this energy around you. Almost like, I remember, oh my gosh, I remember a friend of mine said, was describing somebody as an energy whore. And I'm like, what? But it's like, oh, actually, it was an energy whore. It was an attention whore. And it was like everything they did was all about them. It's like, I want this attention. You have to give me this attention. So I'm going to do whatever I have to do in order to get this attention. You know, when you think of that, well, when I was thinking of it, it's kind of like Instagram in a way, and you go above and beyond so you can get the likes, get the comments that you're looking for. You know, and if you can not think about it with you, it can be beautiful because you can have that drive to help a community, right? But you're not here. It's almost like, it's like community what? Ain't no community. Like, this is for me. If anybody's has watched this show on Netflix called Inventing Anna, it's almost like, you know, it's like she was pretty much narcissistic because of her whatever. And she made it all about her, but yet and still she was trying to make this community, you know, for artists and stuff. But she went like above and beyond and pretty much went cuckoo for Cuckoo Puffs because it was more about her. This is the Anna show. And this is how people can get really like defensive, right? And I'm saying all this not to call anybody a narcissist that's watching this, but maybe you have came across somebody that has that narcissistic energy and feel very defensive to anybody that wants to help you, or defensive towards groups, or defensive to anybody, honestly, that, is trying to have some type of healthy relationship, but you repel that. Deep down inside, you really want that, right? But you repel that because of the fear, because you feel unseen. You feel like you've worked so hard for things, right? And it never comes through. But there's something here. There's something here about, it's almost like you've done your work in vain, right? And just like a narcissist, possibly, I really feel like a narcissist has so much hate for themselves. And they kind of like cover it up. It's almost like being conceited in a way. It's like that false confidence. Because deep down inside, they really do not like themselves. So they put that pain on other people instead of looking at that pain within themselves and trusting the fact that, one, they could actually help. They're strong enough to, if they can redirect that energy that they put on other people, they're very strong enough to heal that pain and they're strong enough to redirect that. But for some reason, it's like this scorned bitterness energy of something with groups. Look at this card here. Every goose or geese is looking in a certain direction, but this one's looking down. It's like, hey, I could help this person. But every time you help somebody, you get, It's reminding me of the empath and the narcissist, right? And the empath walks around like, la-di-da, I just want to give love to anybody. And they're not really having discernment because they're so selfless. It's leaving so much room for people to attack them and take advantage of them. But they're not actually understanding the responsibility that they need to protect and shield them. If you walk around naked all day, every day, in the hot sun, you're going to get burnt. No matter what complexion you are, your skin is going to start getting burnt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that, you know what I'm saying? So we started putting on clothes, right? People started making clothes because it's like, these clothes can protect me. Now I don't have to walk around naked and get stung by insects and this and that. I have clothes. It's really about not staying in not staying in this energy, in this place of hurt and pain and crying and holding your pain. It's about releasing it. Excuse me. It's about releasing it. It's about not putting yourself in these places of pain. And it's about stepping out and trusting the universe, trusting yourself to know that the party's over and it's okay. You can find a new party, but there's still something else behind you. There's still other ways to love. You don't have to love a certain way, and every type of love isn't for everybody. This Two of Wands is telling you to step in a place of wisdom. You can't look at your wisdom or your lessons if you continue to say that you're a failure, right? The failing is allowing you to actually say, oh no, I can't do this like this again, because that didn't work this time. Let me tweak it, or let me just start from scratch in a whole new way. Either or, let me do this way, right? Maybe you can't finish it because you're not allowing somebody to help you. Because you're so scorned and afraid of being helped because everybody let you down. But trust, if you can step into the newness, if you can step into this full energy and know that, hey, maybe the energetics of the word fool being stupid and not knowing and whatever, right? And turn that other energy of the fool of saying, hey, I actually have faith and understanding of this new energy of the unknown, and I trust the universe so much wholeheartedly that I'm going to choose from a place that my future self will be proud of. It's how you see it. It really is. And again, I just want to say, like, I know I started this off with this narcissistic energy. I'm not trying to call anybody a narcissist on here, but maybe you've been abused by narcissism, right? Let's talk about abuse and being a fool real quick. You don't know it's abuse until you actually are told that it's abuse. You don't know it's abuse until you actually learn what abuse is. Right? And many times we're abusing ourselves. And until we're aware of that there's these 2 cups here instead of staring at these 3 cups, we won't know that we're abusing ourselves, and we won't know how these habits that we've accumulated have been hurting ourselves. Because an outside view winds up telling us that, right? A higher view, something winds up telling us, because when you're all the way in it, right? You can't see these people back here. If you stay here, if she turned around, she could see these birds, but once they fly out of her point of view, they're gone. If she got out of wherever she is, then she can maybe still see these birds, right? My whole point of this is there's this new perspective that needs to be trusted within you. And there's this whole new way of speaking about the fool that really needs to be transformed and learned from a place of the hermit instead of a place. It's kind of like, if you look at this, they kind of look the same, right? They got the same clothes on in a way, right? And it's like the young one versus the old one. And it's bright over here, it's like, I'm just going to keep looking at this spilled cups and don't realize that these 2 cups are here. But maybe, just maybe, this one was like, hey, I'm going to just turn around. I'm just going to turn around. And I'm going to trust that, hey, these birds may be giving me a sign that these 2 cups, these 2 people, right? Just saying. You know what I'm talking about? And then finally, we can be in harmony and not feel like we're reflecting, deflecting, or dispelling all this energy that, that I have to do it alone. No, you don't. So let me give you some further advice, and I'm going to go to pile 3, okay? Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Set your sights higher. Don't stay in this energy and sit in your pain all the time. Go higher like these birds over here. Step out of this cage, this cave that you have, and know that, and look where the direction of these birds are even going, and say, you know what? I'm going to fly too. I'm going to trust my wings will take me to where I need to go. Okay. Wonder what this is. Look at this. Make clear intentions. This wasn't in the deck while I was shuffling. Make clear intentions, okay? Maybe sit with yourself first. Before you step out of your comfort zone, which may be pain, right? Before you step out of the comfort zone, before you pick up anything new, because you know, Eight of Coins is about working hard, right? But you're working so hard, it's like you're just doing the same thing. So before you can actually think of something new and making choices that your future self will be proud of, make clear intentions on what you'd like to do in the first place so you can direct that energy and align with your future self, because that's how you're going to align with that future in the first place. It's a direction that the future is going in. There's multiple lanes that you can take to get to that point, but how will you take it? Will you take A? You know, it's almost like, will you take the red pill or will you take the blue pill? And if they told you that both pills will actually lead you to, you know, Front Street, let's say, which one would you still take though? Because it's going to be a different journey once you get to Front Street if you take the blue pill versus the red pill. We have protect your neck, shield your energy, is what I'm talking about. Please put on the sunscreen, okay? If you want to walk around naked, you can, but please put the sunscreen on. Okay? Because if you're complaining about getting sunburn and why your skin is feeling sore, maybe because you didn't protect it in the first place, okay? This is just an analogy here. Do something that brings you joy. This was in the first one. Please don't continue to do stuff and overwork yourself. And, you know, especially like, let's just say with creativity. Creativity brings people joy, right? It lifts their spirits up. It taps into their spirit. It makes people feel good. But when creating feels like heavy work and barbed wire and thorns, you're missing the point. And it's definitely time for a break. Maybe, right? Maybe you will fall down. But from you having this hardworking energy, I know that you know how to get back up. Why? Because the hermit is here. And the hermit speaks from a place of wisdom. And ground your energy. All right? Ground it. If you think back to the Fool, a lot of times the Fool is all up in their head, right? But if you understand and focus where your feet are leading you to the first place, then you can feel more grounded and safe. You know, you don't have to be too grounded where you're almost like looking at your feet, counting your footsteps. But you do want to feel safe and know that, okay, if I walk further, there's actually a cliff here and I won't have anything, any type of support for my body to walk on unless I trust that I have wings. Either or, know your body, know your energy. What is it saying to you? So you can make the best decisions and be proud of those decisions and choices so you can meet your future self. All right, so that's what I have for you, pile 2. Much love. Please look at any messages that are below, links below. Click around, see what's going on, who I am, whatever. And embrace this newness, this new energy. And yeah, I'm moving on to pile 2. Pile 3. Last but not least, we got pile 3s. Let's see what the message here is. Okay. A grateful heart gains many blessings. A grateful heart gains many blessings. I kind of feel like people that picked pile 3, it's like you have this energy of, it's 2 energies, right? It's like, one, am I ready to move forward with something new, right? Do I have permission for something new? And the other is kind of like your heart. You've been listening to your heart and you know that it's time to start something new. So let's see what we got here. Before I put these cards out, it's something about your heart being full will allow you to know that it's time to move forward, or it's also something that it's like, be grateful for where you're at right now so you can see that the newness already started. All right, so let's see. Okay. Interesting cards. Very interesting. So we have the Ten of Pentacles, right? You got the Magician, and we have the Justice card. Wow, we got I just noticed this. We have the Magician and the Magician under each other. We have a lot of major arcanas here. Very interesting, and they're all right here. Okay. All right, so for some of y'all, you have been trying to make a decision with something, right? And part of this decision involves starting something new. Until you're able to let go of some type of behavior or thought pattern, you're not going to really be able to shift and shift this. Now, since it's upside down, it's very funny how I'm looking at these two cards, these two people here in it. And if it was upright, there it would be head first, right? But I'm seeing this, and it's almost like free falling out of all this anguish, right? And falling into new sparks and ideas. Very interesting how I'm reading this card right now. And this is the thing. The Magician is all about creativity, and it's about utilizing your resources, right? It's also about knowing your own magic through creativity, that appreciation. And appreciation goes with a grateful heart. If you can be grateful for the God-given talents that you have in the first place, then you can know that this isn't fully you anyway, and it's not your job to dictate other people, right? And with this type of magic, you have a responsibility to use the magic, but you also have a responsibility to open up to the spirit of creativity. Whew, that just came through, y'all. Because this bippity boppity boo thing, like, right? I'm saying that because there's pumpkins and mice, and this is kind of like Cinderella and being the fairy godmother, right? The fairy godmother always reminded me of the guardian angel, how there are specific spirits that protect you when you come into this earthly realm. And it is your responsibility to connect with that energy. It is. I'm going to say that. You know, if I change my mind months or years down the line watching this again, then whatever. But I feel that if you can be open to that and just know that there is something unseen that is watching you and protecting you. No matter if you had this ugly step parent like Cinderella, you know, if you had this shitty ass story like Cinderella, there is still magic within the places that you are planted in, the places that you are grounded in. And when you can ground in, you can allow that energy to flow down within you. Cinderella felt her worst, right? And felt like she couldn't do nothing. And then all of a sudden, this guardian angel, I'll just call it, came through. Because you know why? She spoke to the flowers and everything, you know, the mice and all this stuff. And then one day when she was at her worst on her knees crying, something magical happened, and her guardian angel showed her that magic. And I'm getting off track with Cinderella here, but she allowed to tap into her resources that were around her. She didn't know, right? But she somehow felt that she trusted that there had to be something better than what she was dealing with, right? So I feel like, let's get back into this because the Three of Swords, right, is really like, can be really self-loathing. The Three of Swords can just be really about heartache. And again, we have this thunder, right, coming through in a different way. Pile threes, I really feel like y'all are so powerful and you just don't even know. Like, for you to have all this major arcana here is crazy. You don't really realize that. And the reason why you don't realize that is because you've been sulking, you've been grieving, you've been in these low vibes that don't really allow you to see the beauty and the bountiful and the abundance. You can't really, if you're in a lack mind state, if you're in a low vibe situation, how can you get to the other spectrum of abundance and love? When you're stuck in one place, especially if your mind is, you really can't see that, right? And then your emotions can have a hold of that and wind up telling your mind that this is your reality, when in all actuality you are very creative, and the power of creativity, no matter how you put it out, is magical. And when you can be grateful for the gifts that God gave you in the first place, then you know that, okay, all right, we got a coven here with this. Like, you help me do what I can do in this earthly plane, and I'll allow you to guide me and trust that, right? It's about balancing the material world with the spiritual world. It's about balancing your mind with your heart. You can't really create from a place of, if your heart isn't open enough to create, that means that you're not allowing yourself to love you enough in your creations. You're not grateful for the talents that you're getting, right? And if you're all up in your mind thinking that the creativity has to be very practical and I'm doing all this work, materialize, I'm making all these things. You are, but there's another part to that that's allowing you to even get the ideas. So there's a lot of balancing here. The Judge card too, I always relate to the Judge card, right? With balance, right? And judge, like someone having power over you almost, kind of like the judicial system. And it's like sometimes, which I'm not going to get into, a lot of times people think that God has the final say, right? But the way that the judicial system is set up, it really reminds me of how churches are set up. You have pews. They're wearing robes like how people were in choir. And the judge is the final naysayer. It's like, this is what's going to happen. And honestly, when you think about Kemet and Ma'at, the goddess Ma'at, she had the skills, and she understood the path that people had to take within the earthly realm. And meeting her, and understanding the heart, the weighing of the heart, which was a certain word of the ceremony. The weighing of the heart had to be light, lighter than the feather, or light as a feather, excuse me. If you came with heavy burdens on the heart, you missed a lesson. I hope that y'all are sticking to this when you hear this, because I know I'm derailing. But it's like bouncing back and forth, right? And really understanding. Like this magician also, just like this one, they're putting their wand in the air. And this is pointing down to the earth. If you got struck by lightning, right? The lightning has to go somewhere. You're the conductor of that lightning. Okay? I really hope I'm making sense, because this stuff is really choppy and having me bounce around. And you have to understand that you can't hold these burdens if you're creating something. These burdens are created by a lot of things in the material world. And the spiritual world comes in to help you learn these lessons and cleanse this energy so you can move forward like the Fool card. But until you are able to purely have gratitude in your heart, and really be appreciative of what you have right now in this moment, you're not going to be able to walk through this next thing, because you're kind of going to be stuck on the things that didn't happen, like the Three of Swords, the things that didn't materialize the way that you wanted it to, or the things that you've built and worked so hard for, and like built your own little world. And it's almost like, let's crash this down, because this isn't always about you, right? This is about being in this world. Let's see and give some advice, because I feel like I need to be grounded right now, and giving some advice to further this situation here. Get one card, please. What comes up must come down, right? And a lot of times too, with spirituality, we can get so caught up in the cosmos and all these things and the higher realms. We kind of forget that, hey, I am a human on planet Earth right now. At least I'm speaking to humans. And we have to also come down, right? Earth to so-and-so, as people used to say, like when you see somebody all like in their head imagining, there's nothing wrong with that. But you also have to find balance to ground that. Once you can find that balance, what? Ain't no stopping it. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the groove. It's like, all right, I got this, because I trust my spirit crew. I trust in the universe that you are leading me to do what I need to do. I trust in this imagination and this idea that is allowing me to give birth and funnel through me like this lightning thing, and channel down into the earth so I can be like, boom, I got it, right? So trust and thrive. And that's the thing. You have to trust first, and then allow the things to move you to thrive. I got caught in looking at this too, and that is about certain cycles, but it's also about the mother, father, spirit, or mother, father, God. There's a magical thing with the pyramid too. I don't know where Kemet is, Egypt, aka Egypt, is coming from, but the pyramid has on the ground, it's wider than the top, and the only thing I can say about that is it's conducting energy to spread it out into the ground, just like this magical magician thing. I don't really want to go further with that, because this is really coming through channeling, and what I would say probably isn't making sense. And this is the thing. I'm stopping that channeling right now, right? If I were open and allowing it to flow like water, then trusting that, all right, this message to come, but I don't really want to, but I'm getting the yes, this is confirmation. But this is y'all's reading here. Yes, you do know, but you have to be open and trust in this spirit. Trust in your heart, what your heart is telling you. Trust in the ideas. Don't get over flooded with being stuck in your head, and don't get over emotional where you can't really understand what's going on. Um be at balance, be at one, like the yin and yang, to allow the mind and the heart to fall in sync, right? And for many of you, you're not going to, there's a need for you to practice this because a lot of people, places, and things may be distracting you right now. Your emotions may be distracting you right now because, there may be some emotional ties from other people. There may just be some emotions that aren't yours, and you need to really center yourself so you can feel all of your energy, right? And it said right here, solitude is best right now. Don't need to really say that. And it says, find the root cause and go deeper. There is a need for you to go a little bit deeper. You understand that some of the things that you have buried are also your hidden treasures. All right. And the hidden treasures most definitely are where the blessings are. And when you can find that, be grateful within your heart, you will gain the many blessings that are meant for you and only you, not anybody else. It's meant for you and only you. Like if you're one of those people that are like, oh my God, did you see that? And people are like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? It's reminding me of, I know somebody that has seen not once, I'll just say more than once, a shooting star when they were with me. And they're like, did you just see that? I did not see it. But you know what? It was meant for them to see, not for me. And sometimes if we get caught up in our emotions, it's like, how come I always see all these things or whatever and nobody else has it, or like the gift of creating is really to give other people, but like it is. But sometimes we're not in alignment with the energy that we need to. So then the people that really get it you can start attracting or start going to those places that you feel welcomed and understood. Y'all get me? I hope y'all do, pile threes. I just want to say that this is a new journey that I'm embarking right now, and I'm going to be doing something new with the major arcanas in tarot. And this is where I'm starting, and I'm trusting that this is the mark that I need to make. So please just take a look below to understand who I'm about, what I'm doing. If you're more interested in this, if this was really hitting for you, please like and share and subscribe, all that jazz. But most importantly, just look at the links below. And if you feel guided to, I'd love for you to comment and, tell me how much this message resonated with you. But also, if you're feeling a vibe, please subscribe and stick around to understand a little bit more deeper into the messages that I'm here to bring for the major arcana and the Fool. Starting off with the Fool, the next would be the Magician. So until next time, I'm out of y'all. Much love and light. Peace.